Darwin handicap of 1,000 metres. It's Sydney, race 7.
Good, Richie, thank you. Yes, Harry Darwin, the late Harry Darwin, was a very well-known trainer at Randwick, particularly back in the 1950s when he enjoyed his moment of triumph because he prepared a horse called Blue Ocean to win the 1954 Queen Elizabeth Stakes at Randwick on the occasion of a very young Queen Elizabeth's first visit to Australia as a reigning sovereign, and she was there to present the trophies to connections, including the late Arthur Podmore, who rode the horse, and the late Harry Darwin, who had the great pleasure of training that winner before Her Majesty. Harry Darwin died some years ago. Another very good horse that he trained was Lindbergh, winner of some top sprint races in Sydney in the 1950s, and a horse that I always regarded as one of the best named horses in my experience. Lindbergh, named after the famous pilot who crossed the Atlantic solo in 1927, and the thoroughbred Lindbergh was by a sire called Transatlantic, out of a mare called Dare, who was by Heroic. So a lot of thought went into that one, and it was a very good name, and the horse lived right up to it. Now they've arrived at the stalls for the Harry Darwin handicap. It's over the sprint course, or the Hurry Scurry course of 1,000 metres. Now let's have a look at the tote call. Big field here. Number 1, Rusali, well supported at 11-4. Number 2, That's Grand, is at 4-1. Proud Son on the win tote at 9-1. Ballista, a Gold Coast 4-year-old, is at odds of 7-2. Danzig Corridor 10-1. 14's Wandalga Prince. Colourful Dancer 15-1. 25's for number 8 Sterlo. McKechnie is at 100-1. 33 for number 10 Raymony, Malcolm Johnston's mount. 11 Give Way 200-1. Who's Magic is at 50. The Gipper, number 13, is at 25-1. Rebel in Blue is a 90-1 pop. He comes from a little town called Wattamundara, Rebel in Blue, ridden today by Neil Campton. 15 Baptism of Fire is at 300-1. Istrian, number 17, 200-1. And that's the field. There's Rebel in Blue, number 14 Saddlecloth, all the way from Wattamundara. In fact, his form in the country areas is far from hopeless. He was a last start winner at Orange, and 3 starts back he was successful at Grenfell. Country horses come to town in droves nowadays, and particularly at the midweek meetings, and they have a very, very healthy strike rate. Neil Campton, the rider in the picture at the moment on Rebel in Blue, is one of Sydney's veteran jockeys, but continues to look remarkably youthful and is just as keen as he was when he was an apprentice rider. In fact, he's had a good week. He won on Sir Spanner at Randwick on Thursday, and he rode another winner at Gosford yesterday, Misty Patch. Now, they look to be just about all there. These runners have moved in very quickly, just 2 or 3 to come up now. Sterlo is in the gates with Istrian, Who's Magic, Colourful Dancer, stands well with Danzig Corridor. Rebel in Blue has moved up on the extreme outside of the field. The Gipper has the inside gate. Now Wandalga Prince faces up squarely, but you can hear the voices of several jockeys calling out to the starter that they're not quite ready. Gates open, off and running. Rebel in Blue on the extreme outside won the start. He began like a flash and hit the ground in front of Colourful Dancer. That's Grand and Ballista fast into stride, followed by Danzig Corridor. At the head of the others, pushing up along the fence, Wandalga Prince. In that bunch, Rusali, and then Proud Son, and getting a fair way back in the early part, Baptism of Fire. Further back is Raymony, and then McKechnie and Sterlo, followed by the Gipper. In that bunch, Who's Magic, and a mile back Istrian, with Give Way at the tail of the field as they near the corner. Danzig Corridor got up on the inside to share the lead now with Ballista as they turn for home. Wandalga Prince third, followed by Rusali, Colourful Dancer off the track, and then McKechnie, and That's Grand behind a bunch of horses. Coming to the 200 mark, Danzig Corridor and Ballista. They're fighting it out, clear of Wandalga Prince, and That's Grand. It's Ballista, Danzig Corridor, Wandalga Prince. That's Grand about to get the split. Here's the white blaze coming through in the middle. It's That's Grand lunging at them, and I think he got there. I think That's Grand on the line by a nose to Danzig Corridor. Ballista third, I think, in front of Proud Son, wide out. He's come right down the middle of the track. Wandalga Prince close up, followed by Rusali, Who's Magic, and then Sterlo, Colourful Dancer, the Gipper. At the head of the others, Baptism of Fire, followed by Raymony and Give Way, and Rebel in Blue, after showing terrific early pace, has knocked up to finish at the tail of the field. By golly, it's a big finish. That's Grand appears to have nailed them on the line, showing a win tote of $5.40 and a place tote of $2.30. And for Channel 9 viewers, we'll confirm those numbers very shortly as we return to Richie Benno.
Thank you, Johnny. Back here at the MCG, play has restarted. Just 2 balls have been bowled by Bruce Reid. Ravi Shastri is the man taking strike. Manjreka is the non-striker. In the commentary box is Greg Chappell, and with him is Simon O'Donnell.
Thank you, Richie. Vescovado. Zam Zulu. Now, Baltimore's gone in. Waiting for Fantasy Lad, Gunman, Brig Bistro. Thank you, Nick. Only a couple to move in. Baltimore came in riderless. Now here's Gunman coming up and Brig Bistro to complete the line. 11-4, number 4, Celeste's the favourite. 11-2, number 1, Fantasy Lad, and 7-2, number 5, Turnout, and 9-1, number 13, which is Baltimore. Just about ready. Montoya has dislodged the rider. Looks to be straddled over the stall. Montoya down on the inside. He's hung up on the side of the stall by the look of it. Is he down? No, he's rearing and playing up, and he looks to have... Yeah. Well, this horse, Montoya, looks to be straddling the front of the stall. He's got his both forelegs by the look of over the stall. Rider standing back, and the attendants trying to extricate this horse from this awkward position he's got himself in. Montoya. And now the other horses are standing up well. And here's the warning siren, so it will come out Montoya as soon as they can bring the horse out. It's backing out, and will be a late scratching Montoya. Number 18 to come out. Great riding performance here today by Denny Nikolic, Damien Oliver. And Damien has ridden 4 winners in 1 second from 6 rides today, and a winning treble to George Handlin. Saddled up runners in 3 races to George and won the 3 of them. So they're the stars of today's program. Damien Oliver with 4 winners in the second. A great riding performance by young Damien. Very popular rider here. And a winning treble to George Handlin. Now they're set to go. This is a late scratching Montoya coming out. And the horses settle now for the running of the 7th on the card, the Club Welter. Shouldn't be long before we have them racing. Naran standing in well. Glory Can turn out with an attendant up with it. Brig Bistro, there's the light. They're off, and Ashen Prince and Glory Can, 2 of the first to jump out from Turnout, and Baltimore Fantasy Lab was away well, and so was Clubman. And Naran is in behind them, followed by Canvari and Brig Bistro around the outside, and Celeste's going up in a hurry towards the leader. And they're followed by Keita. A length further back is Regimental Lord, being followed by further back there over on the outside, Vescovado. Then Call to Order and Zam Zulu dropping back second last, and the Grey Silent Echo is last of all. Over the hill they race, and Glory Can, and on the outside moving up to join it now is Gunman, a length and a half to Turnout on the inside of Fantasy Ladder. Close in behind them is Celeste, followed by Baltimore, then Count Vari and Keita making ground. A length and a half, Ashen Prince is over on the inside of Vescovado, and further back to Brig Bistro, followed by Regimental Lord and Call to Order, and a good long gap to Naran, who's well back with Zam Zulu and Silent Echo down the side. Glory Can, the leader, led by a half length in advance of Gunman. A length and a half to Turnout. Fantasy Lad, Call to Order going forward, followed by Baltimore, and they're closely attended by Celeste, who's over on the outside. Silent Echo and Keita going forward, and just behind them came Count Vari, followed next over on the inside by Ashen Prince, coming up towards the home turner, and Gunman over on the outside has gone up to tackle Glory Can, and deeper on the track is Turnout joining in, and wider still is Call to Order as they straighten up, and Baltimore looking for a run, and Fantasy Ladders down the outside. They're homeward bound. Glory Can on the inside being tackled by Turnout, and Gunman the centre, and deeper on the track is Baltimore as they come down inside the final 200 metres. Glory Can on the inside, and a Turnout, and here comes Silent Echo down the outside. Glory Can on the inside, and Turnout as they go to the line. Turnout, I think's just won it. Give it a Turnout from Silent Echo, which flashed home, and Glory Can in a photo. They're followed next by Ashen Prince, Keita right on their heels, followed by Baltimore, Brig Bistro, and further back is Count Vari, Fantasy Lad, followed by Zam Zulu and Gunman. Naran was never a threat, followed by Vescovado, and back behind them is Celeste, who weakened right out of it, followed by Regimental Lord, and last of all Call to Order.
Bruce Reid. India, 1 for 24 at the moment. Heavy covers coming out. So it's really been an unfortunate day. The weather conditions have changed quite drastically over the 3 days so far.
Reminder of the dividends: Warwick Farm Race 7, that's grand, 5:40 and 2:30. Danzig Corridor 390, and third was Proud Son 280. That's New South Wales dividends, bear in mind. And around the ground, I'm afraid the spectators are starting to wend their way home. We still have plenty for you on Nine's Wide World of Sports here